I welcome you all today on the MOOCs session where we are going to talk about different PG options which an Indian medical student would consider, for PG and finally to settle in some countries abroad. So before I start the session, the idea of the session today is very simple. We are going to, understand how to do career planning if you are a medical school student in India. How do you go about considering the options in your mind? All right. So before we begin, a quick poll to understand which year of med school are you guys in. So the reason to ask is to understand basically, you know, where and which year of med school are you in, because that gives us an idea in terms of planning things. All right. So couple of things we have to keep in mind, as an Indian physician. A physician was studying in a med school in India, right? There are a few things which we need to clearly understand in terms of the planning, right? This is applicable to students who are in med school, or maybe they are graduate, okay, and are planning to settle up abroad. Okay, one very basic thing, okay, which you need to understand when it comes to medical profession, that a degree does not equivalent you to start practicing. Okay, degree and practicing is a two different thing. I mean, having a particular degree does not guaranteeing you to practice as a physician. Okay, it does not mean degree equals practice. Why is that? Because overlapping this condition is something called as the licensure examination. Okay, this is something you need to be clear. Whichever country, if you are a medico and you decide that, okay, I want to, let's say, settle in XYZ country, you need to understand few things very clearly, that you need to be registered with the medical council of that country. Okay, whichever is the medical council or authority or board, the words are different. What it means that unless you are registered with a centralized authority, and if at all there are license exams for that countries, you will have to appear that. Okay, and only after you clear these two things, one is clearing license exam and second is registration. Okay, registration in the particular board, license plus registration, and of course a degree, only then you can practice. These are some ground rules we need to understand. India as a country is also moving to this path. Okay, in earlier you would have degree and you have a registration, you could practice, but now even in India we are having to, we are going to have by 2022 a global level license exam called as the next examination. So we are also slowly moving towards that pathway. But as a medico, I just want to make you guys understand few things very clearly. Okay, so first thing was degree does not mean practice. So definitely the license exam is highly important. Okay, the second myth I want to uncover is doing a post grad from a particular country again does not mean you will settle in that country. Not necessary that I do a PG from that country, I can 100% settle in that country. This again is subject to conditions. Okay, depending on the demand, depending on the immigration policies, depending on uh, the language, and all the other factors, in terms of uh, the criteria which are there for physicians. So my point is, you need to understand which all countries as an Indian student you can consider to do PG, and which all countries as an Indian student you can actually settle. Okay, we will be talking about this very much. That this clarity is what I expect and what I am going to kind of clarify during this session. Okay, the focus of this session is to discuss the pathway options. What an Indian student has, whether it's to do with PG or whether it's to do with license. So we will be talking about primarily PG, which leads to settling options. All right. I hope this is clear, because today's session is going to be very very much to and fro based. So I am going to expect a lot of questions, and I would expect a lot of clarity from you guys, because mind you, in the post COVID arena and post what we call as the phygital world, or the world of telemedicine, things have changed. The way you plan, the way you practice, things are going to drastically change. And we always have heard about a term called as life value. Okay, so life value for so and so component. So currently, if you talk about life value of knowledge, meaning whatever you learn and you apply, that once upon a time was 50 years, 25 years, 10 years. Currently the life value of knowledge is only 9 months. Okay, this is across the specializations and across the careers. Okay, in a lot of careers it's not even 1 month. What does that mean? Unless I upgrade myself and be relevant to what's happening in my industry. In case of medicine, it is the healthcare industry, you will not have a great career. Okay, this clarity is going to be very very essential for each one of you. You need to have a proper planning very much at the start of your career, and a complete picture in terms of how I am going to take my career forward. Okay, this is something which all of you need to very well understand and plan things. All right, so I expect you to have a basic understanding of these things, because those will matter a lot when we will be discussing things further. Right. All right, another very important thing is of course the fact that a base undergrad degree doesn't hold any as such value in terms of your career relevance. Okay, these are few anecdotes which I am saying, but I am saying based on my experience, based on industry feedback. Okay, unless you do a PG, unless you are a specialized physician, the degree is not going to hold a lot of value. Please understand this very very clearly, and the planning for PG has to be accordingly. So you might wonder, why am I talking all these things, but these are highly essential things. I mean, I'll give you an example. Just search a survey which was done by Human Resource Ministry last year, where they had interacted with extensive participants and identified what exactly were the career pathways after people doing just the plain MBBS. And believe me, the results were not great. And which is why I say plan as early as possible, because again, this is a pre-COVID scenario. Post-COVID, things are different, but at pre-COVID world, this was the reality. Okay, a pre-COVID world reality is that if you are studying in an undergrad program which is 1 crore, 2 crores, what kind of jobs are you getting? It's not that great. So your relevance, your job relevance, and your demand is determined only if you are going to consider doing your PG specialization. Please understand this very, very clearly. Being a plain MBBS physician does not hold much of a value currently in the job market in which we are in. All right, that is the reality of the entire whatever discussion we're going to have now. All right, so great. Now, next obvious question which comes to my mind is that have you done some kind of a research in terms of considering your PG? Okay, we need to understand whether we want to practice or just hold a degree, because people who are in first year, second year, or third, first year, without clearing the next exam, even in India, we won't be able to practice. Are you able to understand? So this perspective is what I want to be very clear, which you should be aware of. Thanks to the announcement which was made under the Education Policy 2019, the government has proposed a centralized exit examination, which will ensure there is a complete global level clarity and global level quality of physicians graduating out of India. Earlier, what used to happen, if you are a resident or a citizen from India, if you used to do MBBS from any country abroad, let's say Russia, China, Ukraine, Germany, then only you had to appear this license exam called as FMGE. And if you are an Indian physician, Indian citizen, the only exam you were supposed to appear is the NEET PG. Okay, if you did your MBBS from India, the only exam applicable was NEET PG. That's it, in order to further pursue PG. And should you decide that you wanted to work directly after MBBS, then no examination. Okay, so what people used to do, enroll in a private med school, pay XYZ fees and become a guaranteed doctor. Now that guarantee has gone to the doctors. Now the things are very, very clear, whether you are studying your MBBS in India or in China or in Russia. Should you decide to come back and practice in India, you have to appear this global level license examination called as the NEXT. All right, so entire focus of medicine is moving to what we define as patient-centered learning. Okay, from exam-centered learning, we are moving to patient-centered learning. So the question to you, my students, is: are you ready? Okay, are you ready to take up this challenge? That is the question which you need to ask. That is something which we are also discussing. We are hosting a very big event for a lot of faculties in different countries, and we are exactly discussing this point. As teachers, are they ready to groom students for the patient-centered learning? Now that is the discussion what I want to carry forward. Okay, now let's talk about what all global options does we have. Okay, do we have as an Indian physician? Okay, and then of course individually we will discuss about career pathways depending on the specialization. All right, great. So let's begin. Great. So now let's quickly understand my global opportunities if I am a physician from India. Okay, many countries. Okay, many countries, many opportunities. But now let's dissect one by one each and every career opportunity which we have in place. Okay, first let's understand that every country shall have a license examination, okay, which you need to appear in order to kind of practice in that country. So the US has the USMLE. Okay, the UK has PLAB currently. The PLAB might, it was in fact targeted on 2020, but thanks to COVID, the deadlines have moved on. but UK is proposing for a new examination shortly called as the UKMLA, United Kingdom Medical License Assessment. All right, PLAB will be very shortly shunned out. India has, of course, proposed the next examination from 2022. Canada has the Medical Council of Canada Equivalency Examination. Australia has the Australian Medical Council exam. New Zealand has the New Zealand Registration Examination. Germany has something called as FSP or KSP. The Gulf countries have their own examinations, MOH, DHA, HAAD, depending on the particular Amirat where you want to practice. All right. Again, if there are any questions, feel free to ask and I'll be happy to answer. Well, next is compulsory for students who are currently in first year or second year of med school. That is what is anticipated if the exam launches in 2022. We're not sure what kind of changes or announcement or postponement happens in case of the COVID situation. But as per the proposals and the recommendations which came in February 2020, it is anticipated that Indian students who are currently in first year of med school and second year of med school might have to definitely give this next examination. All right, great. Now let's talk something important. Okay, the difficulty level of examination. All right, the USMLE examination is considered to be globally the most difficult examinations in terms of the most. Now if I were to ask how relevant it is to the actual practicing arena, then I will say the most relevant exam is USMLE. But yes, in terms of appearing, the nature of examinations, the kind of questions, the way they are very conceptual, yes, it is a difficult exam. Lab can be said medium, some people say it easy. Yeah, you can say that. Next, of course, is a difficult examination, right? NECI is a medium level difficult examination. AMC for Australia is again a medium level difficult examination. New Zealand REX, again a medium level difficult examination. It is said if you are able to manage the German language, then these exams are comparatively easier. FSP and KSP. Fastpassprüfung and Kenntnisprüfung. All right. Gulf countries, not that difficult in terms of the license examination. I mean, I'm sure Indian med school students can manage, right? So this is something which we need to understand. A is exam, B is difficulty level. Third, of course, is the quota system. Okay, let's discuss about the quota system. Very important. So far in the United States, there is nothing called as quota system. I am talking from the perspective of PG. Okay, or there is no quota system. Okay, in the UK, definitely, in fact, Britishers were the one who taught all the British colonies. India, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. All of us learned the word quota from the Britishers. Germany, of course, there are no quota system. So is the case in the Gulf countries. All right. Let's talk about the PG seats in these countries. Okay. Let's talk about the PG seats in these countries. Okay. So in case of USA, there are about 34,000 PG seats available. So far, the highest globally, and is increasing year on year. 2020, they reached 34,000. Actual shortage is almost 1.5 lakh physicians every year. If they are to maintain the WHO targets of patient-physician ratio at a super specialty and a PG level. UK, of course, the NHS budgets are very, very stringent, so 15,000. India, huge requirement, but again, the MBBS to PG ratios are less. And I speak to a lot of, uh, you know, academic personnels, people in the decision making capacities, and they say these seats can really go up, but problem is the shortage of faculties, shortage of infrastructure. So that's again a challenge which India has to mitigate. But having said that, the Indian PG degree has lots of value globally. So in your career planning, never discount the value of doing a PG from India. I'll tell you how. We'll be discussing step by step each and everything as we understand this Excel sheet very, very clearly. Okay. Canada, of course, you have 2,000 seats to do PG. Australia is around 5,000. New Zealand is almost around 500. It's a very, very small country. Germany is around 5,000. And Gulf countries, all in all, 500 PG seats. Okay. Now let's talk about the concerns in terms of acceptability of Indian physicians to do PG or maybe to settle, in terms of visa issues. Visa is again a very big concern which everybody has. If you are thinking for a global career, how open is the country and how open are the rules, and what kind of opportunities are there? Because please understand, for an MBBS student, for a physician, it's a long journey. Guys, understand this very, very clearly. Whatever we are discussing in terms of, it's not just a PG course. Please understand the difference. It's not about PG, it's a career decision. A lot of students do not anticipate and understand this, and that becomes a lot of challenge, because these are long courses. Post PG, post fellowship program, these are long courses in the US or in other countries. So if the visa and the visa issues are really bad, it can actually create a lot of issues in terms of your career trajectory and the things you have planned. Okay, so it's very important. You need to understand how flexible they are, not only for you but your family, because that's what matters. So far for physicians, the concerns are less in terms of visa, because there is a huge skill shortage of physicians in America. Okay, that is what the situation is. Post corona, it is anticipated that there will be huge shortage of physicians and demand will definitely rise. UK, definitely big issues. Okay, big issues. You won't believe, in the last 10 years, 8 to 10 times the PLAB exam was shut. They will announce the date, they'll cancel the dates. Lot of challenges. There is no coordination between a body called as NHS and UKBA. So a lot of rejections happening. So it's a very, very, you can say, people were anticipating things will be different post Brexit, but before they could visualize things, COVID came up. So very, very few chances. I mean, I know exceptionally bright students gave their PLAB 1, PLAB 2, the visa was rejected. Gave their PLAB 1, PLAB 2, the work visa, house surgeonship visa was rejected. So no, the concerns are very high in terms of visas, and later on to settle, though you can't even consider, because things are not that great. You will realize that we will refer to a lot of content to understand that. Okay, there's no question in terms of visa in India. Canada, of course, the concerns are less, but I am talking to settle. Okay, please understand this. To study, Canada does not have seats. There are stringent quotas. We will see that in the session today. Okay, but to settle, yes, possibility is there. Australia also, you can settle. Okay, what do I mean by this settle pathway? I will discuss it very clearly with each one of you. Germany, no problem in terms of doing PG. Okay, Gulf countries, no problem to settle. Okay, to settle, no problem. To do PG, again, they don't have seats. That's what is our next point. Now, after completing my PG, can I settle? Yes, if I have a PG degree from America, I can settle in America, no problem. Can I settle? No. Big issues. Now, here I am giving at the context of age, because to do NEET PG, taking drops, lack of seats, NEET super specialization, big challenges. You know, a lot of exams, a lot of competition. So yeah, by the time you settle, it's almost age of 32. Canada, you can settle if you have a PG from US or PG from India. That is why I said do not discount your Indian PG. Holds a lot of value. Okay, you can settle in Australia. New Zealand, while you can settle, it's a very, very small country. Okay, it's a very small country, sparse demand. There is more, animal population than a human population. So, I mean, I shall recommend that being a veterinary physician has a lot of value than being a human physician in New Zealand. All right. Germany, of course, if you were to pursue your PG in Germany, you can settle in Germany or in Austria, in Switzerland. Gulf countries, yes, if you have your PG from US or India, you can settle, no problem more. Now, what are the challenges or concerns for each of these countries? Let's understand that as well before we take a next set of questions. Okay, let's understand this very, very clearly. So, if we were to consider the disadvantages, the US process is very, very long. You require a lot of patience, lot of hard work. Of course, there is light at the end of the tunnel, but initially it takes lots of sacrifices, lots of time management, and lots of hard work. So it's a long process, which is why a lot of students don't prefer. But then, yes, if you are looking for a global career, if you're looking for stable career, this is the number one option which can be fruitful for Indian physicians. Okay. UK, on the other hand, has lots of issues. We will discuss it as we move ahead. Considering the agency called as BAPIO, what are the concerns they have? The tax, the visa, the racism. Okay, let's in fact see it right away. Okay, let us quickly check out what are the concerns what we have in terms of UK as a option. Okay, so step by step we will see each and every concern. So first of all, you can just Google, you will find what are the exact issues. Okay, very regularly, this is British Association of Physicians of Indian origin, and they are raising a lot of concerns. You can see this even in the COVID times. There are discriminatory rules. Are you understanding? You see the situation here. It's going to be very, very difficult. Okay. So what happens is in 2020, okay, we are in 2020 and we still have to pay unfair surcharge. Okay, that is something which is the biggest challenge which we see as Indian physicians. Indian doctors in UK pay $400 surcharge just because we have India, 400 pounds. Okay, so that is a very, very big concern. NHS treats UK physicians and Indian physicians completely different. Okay, this is going to be very difficult to sustain in the COVID world. If doctors are charged with a lot of taxation issues, it's going to be very difficult. Then of course NHS, Indian physician who is settled in UK since 1974 has strongly written an article in the British Medical Journal talking about a very important issue, the racism which is happening in the UK, and the reason why a lot of BAPIO members are discouraging Indian physicians to consider this option. Can you see this? I mean, the treatment is not only great from the patient's point of view, but also the colleagues also do not treat people fairly. This is the reason why we strongly do not recommend UK as an option. Okay? You need to understand there are big challenges. Okay? As an Indian physician who is looking to mark or have a career in the UK, we need to see each and every aspects. Okay, unless you understand the overall picture, it's going to be very difficult. Okay, today's session, the reason is to clear all the myths, because unfortunately there are lots of these companies which would just recommend you options for the sake of profit without realizing the career pitfall which you guys fall into, and that's my biggest concern. Okay, so I don't know how many of you read newspapers, that very regularly the articles come in lot of famous dailies talking about the challenges of the UK healthcare crisis. While there is a shortage in the general practitioner, psychiatry, emergency medicine, anesthesia, radio departments, however, if you read this again, these are people who are British Association of Physicians of Indian origin. They are raising concerns that very few Indian doctors at high position, non-white doctors assessed unfairly for promotions to become specialists. Glamorous specialization such as cardiology, ophthalmology, surgery, pediatrics all go to European doctors. Non-white doctors in consultancy options are overlooked while conferring merit awards. I hope you are able to understand this. Awful working conditions under the NHS. Okay. The deputy chair and the president are talking about these concerns. Okay. Please understand this. There are huge problems. Working conditions in UK for doctors have deteriorated a hell of a lot. It is not as good as people think. There are not many Indian doctors at very high position in UK. If you are a white UK trained doctor, the pass rate is 98%. But if you are a doctor from India, then the rate of clearing exam is 34% or even less in some specialties. What does that tell you of a system? This is something you need to understand very, very clearly. What happens, it's not your fault. There are a lot of companies in the southern India. There are a lot of you. The way they pitch USMLE difficult, India difficult. So the best option is UK. They will tell you UK is easy exam to clear. Lab, and I agree, exam is easy, no doubt about it. But the story after that, is one with big question mark, and that is exactly what they will try to cover. Okay, so be very, very careful. When it comes to US, we have thousands of examples, but if you talk about UK, only handful of people who are settled there. So be very, very careful when somebody considers or tells you to consider the UK option. Okay, very, very, very important for you guys to understand, because a lot of times due to lack of awareness and a smaller visibility and the human nature that whatever is easy, let's take a easy road, lands you into trouble, lands you into options which are not good for your career. Okay. Now let's talk about Canada. Canada is a good country to settle. However, it has quota system at a PG level. If you are knowing French, you can settle in a lot of places. The public healthcare system. The healthcare system is completely public. So what happens is, in terms of the social security, everybody is covered. So unlike India and US, you don't make a lot of money because there's nothing called as private sector, but it's a good life. It's a decent life to consider. Okay, please understand these things very, very clearly. Canada is a great option to settle. Okay, there are two different things I mentioned at the start of the discussion. To settle and to do PG are two different things. To settle and to do PG is two different things. So you need to understand this very, very clearly. Okay, because what happens is, every time we do any discussion, I get students questioning, okay, if my USMLE does not happen, can I settle in Canada? Or if I don't do Indian PG, everybody is telling me settling in Canada is easy. So can I settle in Canada? Yes, you can settle in Canada, but you cannot do a PG in Canada. This is something which you need to understand very, very clearly. Okay, to do PG and to settle are two different things. All right, to do PG and to settle are two different things, and you guys need to understand this very, very clearly. Okay, I'll give you an example. If you can see my screen, let's talk about the quota system. So this is the number of positions available in each and every specialization in Canada. Okay, so for example, in India there are 20,000 seats for medicine. In US there are about 8,000 seats. In whole of Canada, if you are an international student, there is a quota of 50 seats only, 51 seats. That's it. So you cannot apply beyond 51 seats. In case of surgery, the whole of India has about 10,000 seats. The whole of US has around 2,500 to 3,000 seats. But in Canada, there is a quota of 5 seats. Okay, this is the challenge. The Canadian system has a strict quota for each and every specialization. I hope you are able to understand this, and which is why I said to do PG is not a consideration for Canada. But yes, if you have a PG from India or from US, if you later want to settle, yes, you can settle. This is something which you need to understand very, very clearly. All right, I hope you are able to understand this, because the perspective has to be very, very clear. Whatever I am discussing, it is based on the data. It is not some random information. So, I got a question that why can't I do PG in Canada? This is the problem. I hope now it is clear and now you understand by the word quota. Australia, of course, it's a very, very expensive lifestyle. If you Google and find out the top 10 expensive cities in the world to live, you'll realize a couple of them are in Australia itself. So the lifestyles are expensive. Again, there is a quota system and the license process is long. But yes, I mean, given an opportunity, if you wish to settle, it's a good option provided you have already PG from India or Canada. Okay, please understand this. No Komal. There is nothing called as quota in the US. Okay, US does not have any quota system. That's the benefit, and the reason why they don't have quota is because there is a huge shortage. Correct, Vilas. It is true. Let me explain you in a different way. Maybe that gives you a better clarity. Okay, let me draw it out on a very different way so that you guys can understand what I mean. Okay, let me do that. Okay, for example, if I am a Indian, okay, I am an Indian PG. Okay, I am a PG MD MS from India. Okay, I can definitely settle in Canada, settle in Australia, settle in New Zealand, okay, settle in let's say any of the Gulf countries, okay, provided I have given their examinations and I apply for something called as specialist pathway. Okay, so Canada has MECI, Australia has AMC, New Zealand has NZREX, and all Gulf countries have their own exams. I will show you an example. So let's see for Australia. Okay, you just have to Google AMC specialist pathway. Okay, so here is a website for Australian Medical Council, and you will be able to understand. Overseas trained specialist applying for an assessment, overseas trained specialist applying for an area for need of specialization, and overseas trained specialist applying for a short period of specialist. So either case, you have an opportunity to apply and get a registration and work. Okay, so this is the specialist pathway provided you have a PG degree from India or US. Okay, I hope you guys are able to understand this. The registration or license, which is why I discussed at the start that whichever country you want to enter, you need to be registered with the medical council of that country. The reason why I was giving you perspective at the start was to give you a clarity. No, Ankush. I will come to your question, Ankush. Okay, and then of course we will discuss a lot of other stuff. So Ankush is asking, I haven't reached up to Germany, but Ankush is asking, can I settle in Australia, New Zealand after doing a degree from Germany? No, you cannot. Germany is a completely different ball game, Ankush. If you want to settle in Germany, you have to first know the German language very well. And after completing the course from Germany, you cannot even practice in India. Because the course happens in German language, it is not recognized by India as well. The only 3 countries where you can settle is Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Okay, so this actually, for an Indian student who wants to do a PG, first option is US, second is India. If he is not able to do these option or these option, the last fallback option is to consider Germany, but Germany is a one-way route. Okay, it's a one-way route. You cannot come back and work in India. I hope this is clear. All right, great. So now, of course, the last part is the challenges with the Gulf countries. So Gulf countries have great healthcare systems, lot of funding, lot of private players. Indian physicians are at a very high positions. They are HODs of departments. They almost run the hospitals. But the challenge is, a lot of times the jobs you get initially are contractual jobs and happening through agencies. So you need to be very careful. Your work placement agency you need to choose has to be genuine. Your documentation, your everything. What happens is that uh, the the way to reach this place is the challenge. Once you are in the system, no problem. But be living here in India, when you get these offers, you need to be very clear. Vilas specialist pathway means I have to just do the registration. Okay, and once I get the license, I have to look for a job and work. When I showed you the page of Australia and specialist pathway, why Australia and Canada are popular? Because I don't know whether you saw this, but under the specialist pathway they have something called as area of need. Okay, every year they publish area of need. Okay, so wherever there is a demand they can settle. Okay, there is always a shortage of physicians in Australia, Canada, these countries. So usually Indian students use this specialist pathway under area of need. Okay, and that's how they settle. But the ground rule is they should have a PG from India or US. Okay, that has to be very clear. All right. So the point I am trying to make is that you need to be very clear what exactly are my country options available. Okay. Okay, Yash is asking, what about Singapore? Why is Singapore not in my list? All right, that's a very good question, Yash. Very simple. Okay, you just type Singapore Medical Council approved medical college list. So if you were to practice in Singapore, they have already made a list of medical colleges and they keep on revising. If you are from that college only, then you can practice in Singapore. And this list is becoming very small year on year. Okay, to understand this, Yash, very clearly. Okay, it's a very small country. I mean, almost double the size of Bombay, I can say, as a city. Yeah. So if you have a degree from any of these medical colleges, only then you can get a license to work in Singapore. Please understand this very clearly. Okay, can you see this? How many colleges are there? There were 8 colleges earlier from India. Now there are only 2 colleges. That's it. CMC Vellore and AIIMS Delhi. If you are not from these colleges, you cannot register to practice in Singapore. I hope you are able to understand this. So my perspective today is to make you realize what should be your planning and what is the consideration between a PG and to settle in a country, and what are the challenges in each of the options. I hope this is making sense. All right, so now I have a next question from percentage of getting job in USA after doing PG in USA. Karthik, I can say almost 100%. Okay, I don't have a doubt about that. The reason is, again, let me show you some important statistics. I only talk on the data. Okay, so this is the reality. If you are considering the US option, there is a huge physician shortfall. Okay, secondly, if you see the orange bar, the number of PG seats are the orange bar, and the yellow bar is the number of MBBS seats. So they have more PG seats but less MBBS seats, and which is why the gap, which is why in America for 10 students applying, 6 get admission. If we were to compare it with India, India has same 30,000 seats. However, the MBBS seats are around 70,000, plus people who did not get selected last year, they apply, plus people who did not get admission last year, they apply, plus there are eternal optimists applying for many years. So in India, 1.5 lakh students sit for the NEET PG exam for these 30,000 seats, and if we were to minus all possible kind of quotas, open category student, only seats available are 15,000. So in India, what is happening? For every 10 student, only one is getting a seat. This is the biggest difference. Are you able to understand, Karthik? Correct, Anisha. Absolutely yes, because you are on a H1B visa. Okay. All right. Govind Raj is asking about match and the USMLE. Well, we can discuss it, because what happens is I can do something about USMLE. I mean, I can talk about USMLE in my normal sessions. I do very regularly my USMLE sessions, and maybe we can attend that session. Today, the scope of session is very, very specific about the global career pathways. Okay. I'm not able to talk much on the match process today. Let me cover all other questions and then I will come to your question as well. Please understand, if time permits, we can take the match process, because USMLE itself is a big session, a long session to discuss in terms of the options. Okay, please understand this. Will I be able to practice in India if I don't give next but do residency in US? No, absolutely no, Riddhi. Okay, anybody suggesting you a shortcut or an escape route from next? Well, that's not happening. Okay, because next is USMLE of India. Please understand this very, very clearly. Please understand this very, very clearly. Next is USMLE of India. So whether you do MBBS from any country or India, now next will be compulsory. Currently, the FMGE exam which is in place is only to be given by foreign medical grad students. Okay, let us understand this very, very clearly. You asked a very relevant question, Riddhi, and you need to understand this. Currently, FMGE examinations have to be given for students who do their MBBS abroad. Okay, but please understand this very, very clearly. If you have your MBBS from USA, from UK, from Australia, from New Zealand, this exam was exempted. Why? because Indian Medical Council considered doing MBBS from that at par with MBBS students from India. And MBBS students from India don't give the FMG examination. Okay. So FMG exam, which is the current exam in place, is optional, but the next exam, which is going to be a global level license exam for students, or I will say physicians who want to practice in India, will have to give. So there is no escape route to the next examination. Okay. Whether you study in med schools in India or abroad, once your final exams get over every year in the month of March, be ready for your next one exams. Once you clear your next one, April to March, 1 year of compulsory internship will be put in place. Once you complete that internship in a hospital in India, you will have to appear the next two examination, post which you get a license to work or your MBBS degree or a license to work in India. Okay. And July onwards, you can do PG if you are aspiring to do PG. That's an optional thing. So my point, what I'm trying to tell you, next will be compulsory. Padmaja is asking, how do I apply for super specialization of reproductive medicine in USA? Okay, what are the requirements to apply? Padmaja, any information you want to know about super specialization or PG in USA, there is a one global search tool, okay, that is called as Frida. Always type Frida. Okay, be very careful. Do not type Frida Pinto. You type Frida USMLE. That's a global search engine by AMA. So whichever specialization you are interested in, just type in and you get every information. Okay, the length of program, the hospitals offering it across the USA. It's an American Medical Association portal. All right. So you can just type reproductive endocrinology, medical genetics, medicine. If there is a specialization by that name, it will come. If not, they will show you what are the options. So they say reproductive endocrine or infertility. Okay. Otherwise, the terminology might be different. So Padmaja, if you are aware of any alternative terminology, you might want to consider that. Okay. But this is the official website where you find each and every information. Sukanta, Indian students studying in Philippines. What exam do they give in India? If they are going to come before 2022, they appear the FMGE exam. If they come after 2022, they appear the next examination. I hope it is clear. Let me take each and every question, and I wish that you have a complete clarity. I agree, Karthik. Absolutely. You are bang on right. Lot of lead surgeons in India did their surgery programs back in India, then they applied for PG in USA. That is the trend because there is definitely a lot of demand. Okay, and surgery specialization is very competitive. So that is true, but at the same time, let's understand something. Lot of the physicians who are practicing and you are seeing them in big hospitals in India, not necessarily they have done the surgery residency from America. Please understand the basic difference. Your question is very correct, Prasad, Karthik, but you need to understand this. Okay, lot of Indian physicians which you see who have done PG from India, many of them don't repeat PG in America. If they are settled in India, they usually do the fellowships in America and then they come back in India. So I personally know of lot of physicians because as I told you, USML is a career-based exams. So every year we have students who are actually consultants at the age of 44, at the age of 52, at the age of 37. They come, they have done their PG, they come to us for USMLE preparation, and they apply for fellowship. For example, somebody wants to become a cardiothoracic surgeon. They do step 1, step 2 CK, CS, step 3, and then they apply for fellowship in cardiothoracic surgery. Now this is a 4-year program. You get paid every year around 65 to 70 lakh rupees while you are studying. And after that, if you come back to India, because your MBBS from India and PG also was from India, you don't have to appear any examination. You can straight away work in job market. And the way you have named some famous physicians, Karthik, that is correct. But let me tell you, the names which you have mentioned, not everybody has repeated the PG from America. Some have only done super PG or fellowships from America. In spite of that, the value is equally very high. Okay, please understand these things very, very clearly. Okay. Okay. No, good question, Vilas. If I do only fellowship in USA after PG from India, can I settle? Vilas, no, you cannot. So you have a good question, Vilas. If I do, let's say, PG from India and fellowships from America, can I settle? No, you cannot settle. You have to come back and work in India. The only exception to this rule is radiology. India is the only country, and DNB and MD radiology are the only specialization which have this opportunity. Okay. Rishikesh, I don't know whether you understood my chart or not. You cannot do PG in Australia. I am still surprised when students are still not able to comprehend the basics. Let me again clarify for simplicity level and grasping power of people. These are two different boxes. If I have to do PG, what are my country options? India, USA, and Germany. Okay. If I want to settle, what are my country options? If I have a PG from USA, then USA. If I have a PG from India and USA, then I can settle in Canada. I can settle in Australia. I can settle in New Zealand. I can settle in any of the Middle East countries with a great career. Okay. So as you can see, if I have a PG from India or US, I can settle in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Middle East. If I have a PG from USA, I can settle in US as well as India, as well as all of these countries. If I have a PG from Germany, I can settle in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Only 3 countries, because the language of instruction is in German language. Guys, please have a complete overview and clarity, because otherwise you will ask these kind of questions. Okay. And I hope all of you are able to see the obvious, that in both the list, to do PG and to settle, I haven't mentioned UK, because both the possibilities are very, very grim. You know, nobody can be exception, or something which doesn't occur very regularly. So please do not take chances accordingly. Yes, if you have done your MD medicine, sorry, MD radiology or DNB radiology in America, sorry, in India, you can definitely settle in America. Let me show you how. So if you have done your MD or DNB radiology, MD or DNB of radiology in India, you have to give your step 1, CK, CS and step 3 and then apply for fellowships. Once you complete fellowship, you can settle in America. India is the only country and radiology is the only specialization which is directly recognized in America, and which is why there is a huge demand. Okay, I hope this is clear to each one of you. Feel free to ask if there are any questions. Okay, feel free to ask any questions. Okay, all right, absolutely yes. All right, so now let's discuss other questions as well. Will current 4th year students have to write next? No, you don't have to. No. Okay. Is there any chance to settle in America after PG from India? I already answered that question, Khansa. No. Next is just a license exam, not an entrance exam for PG. No, Riddhi. Riddhi, again, we are going to square one. I discussed it at very start. Next is one common exam, which will be both PG and license giving examinations. Okay, please understand this very, very clearly. All right. Is the medical licensing exam process in Canada same as USA? Like it is long? No. If you have already a PG from India or US, you apply for a specialist pathway and appear the MECI 1, MECI 2 exam and start looking for a job. Canada, Australia, these are all more from the immigration point of view. Correct, Padmaja. You can do your MBBS and PG from India and do a, you can settle but not do super specialization. Again, Padmaja, you are asking to do course. Doing a course, the chances are less. They don't have that many seats. We just saw the data right now. There is a stringent quota system. Don't talk about PG studies or a higher PG studies in these countries. Talk about getting a job and settling in these countries. To do PG or to do fellowship, I am again repeating, as an Indian student, a realistic chance. I am not going to talk about one or two exceptions. Okay, I am talking about realistic chances are India, US, and Germany. Okay, all right. Okay, now somebody is asking about Germany. What is the process? The way you talked about US, let me quickly let you know the overview of German process as well. Guys, regarding the USMLE exams and steps, well, you can attend my regular webinars, which I very regularly do, and you'll be able to understand everything. Today, since we are focusing on the global license exams only, so I'm going to be talking very specific to these each and every countries. All right. Okay, so your answer, Richa, the roadmap to German PG. First of all, as I told you, who considers German options? The one who is not able to get a PG in India or PG in USA and now is looking for a one-way route. Only that student consider this option. Now, what is the roadmap to PG in India, in Germany? So Germany, of course, requires extensive language preparations because unless you are Goethe certified A1, A2, B1 language, it's going to be very difficult to consider a PG option for Germany because everything happens in German language. So these languages and certifications you need to achieve while you are in India. Then prepare for B2 C1 TELC examination. This is an exam which teaches you German language plus medical terminologies in Germany. This is a 6-month thing. You require 6 months to prepare. After which you appear the first exam, which is called as FSP, Passprüfung, which leads to work permit in Germany. After which you need to find out and enroll for an observership in a general hospital in Germany. Gather the experience, work there for about minimum 6 months as an observer. Once you complete that observership requirement, you have to move to the next level called as approbation. Okay, once you complete the requirement of observership and pass the FSP exam, now you can join as an assistant physician in a German hospital for a stipend. You start earning before you even start residency, euro 2,300. And then you appear the exam for PG called as Kenntnisprüfung, KSP. Okay, once you give your KSP exam, this is a non-competitive exam because I told you not many people can manage the German language. And then your residency starts. During residency, your per month stipend is 3,500 euros. Okay, and later on, definitely you can apply for settling in Germany, and getting a blue card is not an issue. The way US has green card, Germany has blue card. Okay, Germany has seats reserved for AMG, so you get easily the seats. MCI approved courses, high demand for healthcare professional, no competitive exam, largest choice of specialization, world's largest pharma companies are there. So clinical trial, clinical career pathways, drug trial, huge demand. And immigration policy is very easier, which leads to blue card. So this makes Germany as a great destination. Absolutely yes. Okay, absolutely yes. Brinda, I already discussed at the very start of my session what are the big issues for UK. So I am not going to talk about UK because I just don't want to show you a pathway which is not possible. But your question whether surgery is possible in US or not, let me show you that data. Okay, there are many questions, many students who have asked that question. So let me show you that data. What are the chances of getting surgery in the US? Let us see that. Okay, but I shall not be able to discuss about your question of the pathway for PALAB because I don't want you to show you any road which will actually not lead you anywhere. I don't want 10 years down the line you say I heard a webinar which made me decide and consider UK and today I am stuck in my life. I keep that opportunity or things to be done by a lot of companies in South India who unfortunately are money minting companies. So I don't believe in that. So that's why I don't recommend PLAB as an option. So that's left to companies in Hyderabad and Bangalore to give you the wrong pathways. I don't do that. Well, the question regarding my chances to get surgery. Okay? So surgery is competitive in India and so is it in America. So let us see what happened. This is the number of seats. These are the number of international students who got selected. The one which had green card and one without green card. Okay. And we can see for every specialization that gives you an idea why out of every 10 IMG, 6 are getting admission in America. So anesthesiology, 1,400 seats and around 78 visa speaking candidates and 58 non-visa people got admission. Emergency medicine, 2,665 seats, 155 green card holders, 30 non-green card holders got admission. Family medicine, 4,500 seats, 405 visa seeking candidates got admission. Internal medicine, 8,700 seats, 2,116 people got admission. There is no quota system. Last year 1,800 got admission. This year 2,100. Neurology 682 seats last year, 182 students got admission. OBGY 1443 last year, 36 got admission. Patho 603 last year, 232 people got admission. Pediatrics 2864 last year, 340 students got admission. Psychiatry 1858 last year, 129 students got admission. Surgery 2500, 1536 plus 1100 seats, and last year 240 students got admission. Okay, so if there were a quota, then we would have seen this much. How many happens in Canada? Only 5 students. This is called as quota. 2500 people getting selected, or 2500 seats and 240 people getting selected. That's not a quota. Okay, I hope you're able to understand. Total 34,000 seats, 4,002 IMGs got elected, 3,154 IMGs with green card got selected. So almost 7,000 people got admission. That's a huge number. Okay, I hope this is clarifying your query. Now again, I'm open to next set of questions. Well, because Vilas, you require a job at the end of the day. Unless you have a job, what's the use of a pathway? What about MHA and MPH in USA? Okay, Shubham. What do you want to do, Shubham? I mean, or MBA in hospital and management. Okay, good question, Shubham. So, what is your career aim is what you have to decide, Shubham. How much money do you want to make is what you have to decide. First of all, USMLE, you do not pay tuition fee. So your PG happens for free. On top of it, your minimum income is $200,000 to $500,000. But if you are interested for non-clinical field, then what are your opportunities? And what kind of salaries are you going to get? Let's see that. You have to decide whether I spend 40 to 60 lakh rupees and I do my MPH and all those things and get this kind of salaries, or I do hard work, spend no money, do a PG and get $200,000 salary. Can you see this? How much salary are you getting after spending 60 lakh rupees? Now, this is a math problem. I understand doctors are not good at math, but MPH or any other program like MPH makes you spend 60 lakh rupees. Okay, and gives you $100,000 per year salary. Or do USMLE where investment is only 20 lakhs, but gives you a minimum salary of 200,000. So you decide which one makes you comfortable. You can consider whether to spend 60 lakhs or to spend 20 lakhs. Absolutely, yes, correct, Akash. After completing step 3, can I practice both in America and India? Yes, absolutely. Why not? All right. Great. So now I am time short, so I will consider 2 more questions before we end this session. Let me tell you quickly, my team says that I quickly need to also give you an option of the Moksha coaching platform. So those who are interested for a free trial login for this coaching platform, where you are able to learn the global license exam, whether it's the USMLE. So you need to utilize this platform, which is highly indigenous, with live lectures, all right, and with access to high quality sessions. You need to consider this, all right. So this is a software which you can get a free trial access. You can log in, you can watch recordings, you can download notes, you can report mistake, you can solve doubts. You have USMLE style questions to practice a mock USMLE step 1 exam. You can create your questions. You can predict your skill. It's an artificial intelligence based software, indigenous with career tools mapped for you. Okay, it is designed by professionals who have successfully cleared the USMLE themselves. Okay, with the complete analytics and report of your strengths and weaknesses. So those who want to access to this portal and want a free trial are free to kind of log in and connect on this number. All right, great. So now I'm open to any questions. I told you last two questions before we end. It's a long session. Before I end quickly, do I have to give any exam like MCI when I come back to India after residency from America? No, Akash, you don't have to. Well, Vilas, you need to connect with the Mox team. They will keep you updated about my future sessions. And also, Vilas, if you want to watch a lot of webinars which we regularly conduct, you need to like and subscribe our YouTube channel, where you get complete information of lot of discussions which happens. We invite a lot of guest physicians, so you are free to connect and identify this YouTube channel, where you could watch lot of information. Okay, so you can connect on this channel and get information about various topics around the medical licensing examinations, about current issues of coronavirus, and our student feedbacks, and how do you actually make your career. So this platform gives you one-stop information about everything to do with USMLE. So I will send you the link. You can like and subscribe this channel, and this will keep you posted about what's happening with Moksha. Yeah, correct, Ria. B1 and C1 to be done in India for German programs. Value of DNB graduates, Pankaj, it depends. Some medical bodies in the US, in the Canada, in Australia do consider equivalence of DNB. It actually depends on the curriculum mapping and demand. Again, DNB from which hospital are you doing, that also matters. Your letter of recommendations also matters. All right, so I will tell you, it is not necessary. It is at par in consideration for every country and every specialization. It actually depends. As I told you, DNB radiology is directly recognized in America at par with MD radio, but that's not the case with each and every specialization. So you'll have to be very specific and accordingly do your research. All right, I can't believe it. Can you tell me whether you can consider Nepal for PG? Praveen, my friend, what is your aim in life? What is your aim in life? You want to learn from an infra or a institution which has a better infrastructure in India, or worst infrastructure? I mean, I'm really surprised by your question. Doing PG from Nepal, I mean, I'm equally surprised where people go to Nepal to do MBBS. I mean, they spend 50 lakh rupees just to do MBBS from, believe me, I have personally visited medical colleges there. I've done sessions. I was invited as a guest speaker in almost 3 to 4 medical colleges. The medical conditions are not that great. Let me tell you, when you do a PG, Praveen, you need to actually study from an institution which will be advanced, because PG is specialization. The kind of biomedical instrumentation you are exposed to, the kind of faculty mentors you have, that is something you should consider. You should always think ahead in life. I mean, I'm surprised if you thinking of countries like you know Nepal is not a destination which I would recommend. All right, will my chances get higher if I do my PG in surgery? Is it okay to repeat PG? Yeah, absolutely, Karthik. That's your individual call. Some students believe doing a home medical specialization. For example, in the US, if you already have a home medical degree, in some specialization they appreciate. For example, surgery, anesthesiology, OBGY, perfectly fine, okay, but not for all the specialization. All right. I hope this is clear to each one of you. I am happy that all of you could be there with me for this long session today. I wish you all the very best, and I hope to see you soon in the next few sessions. Stay safe, stay at home. Wish you all the very best, and at any point of time, any support required, you can be in touch with the Mox team. Thank you, Shepuri. Okay, last question by Dr. Moses. Is there any age limit for USMLE? No. How we get trained for clinical part of USMLE from here itself through Mox? No, we don't run anything in India. Sitting here in India, you cannot do clinical rotations in America. So somebody is giving you those options, please don't consider. All right. I already said no to this. Could we do PG from certain colleges in Germany and work in Singapore? I already told you no. We just saw the list. All right. Great. Thank you, everyone. I wish you all the very best, and I hope to see you soon in the next few sessions. All the very best. Medicine is a long career, so plan well and stay safe during this COVID time. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.